Hey guys, what's going on? Andy Parton. I'm here with my man Dylan Dickens. Today we're going to talk a little bit about one of the most memorable moments in Dirtbag history. So we're going to go way back. We're going to go way back.
Way back when?
Way back when. 2010 World Woodbat Championship. Okay, and we're going to go back to the Final Four. Semifinals versus the St. Louis Cardinals scout team. And just to give you guys a little context about that team, I did a little homework. The team that this guy beat right here had 20 draft picks. Okay, 20 draft picks, 9 first rounders, 1 second rounder, and they currently have 9 guys in the big leagues. So that's pretty impressive right there.
It's not bad.
Solid.
It's not bad.
That's solid. That's solid. Now our team was pretty good. I mean,
yeah.
You know, we had a good team. We
had
had
studs.
Yeah, we had Seager didn't go. Corey Seager didn't go. Well, if you take him out of it, we had 7 draft picks still on that team. You know, and we had a first rounder, we had a 5th rounder, 6th rounder, and 8th rounder. So it wasn't like we had a bad team, but I don't think anybody was picking us to win that game. Nobody was picking us to win that game.
No chance.
So let me talk a little bit about Dylan. Now, he had probably the most dominant performance probably ever in Jupiter history. I don't know. Now, with the new pitching rule.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's true. That's true. I don't think anyone, I think he threw 14 1/3 scoreless innings. Now, Dylan we played 8 games because we won the championship. We played 8 games, and he pitched in 7 of them. Now, in the first game, we won 9-0, but I warmed you up.
Yes, you did.
You remember that? I warmed you up. So he pitched the whole game. I mean, every game. But with Dylan, I really didn't know. How long did you play with us before that year? How many years did you play with us?
4.
So 4, okay. So we knew he was good. I remember him, you know, the year before, you know, you played with us. I mean, you know, we knew what we had, good stuff. He was a submarine pitcher, all right? Would you say you were sidearm or submarine?
Super weird.
Super weird.
Super
Weird enough.
weird.
Super weird. All right, so he was way down there, okay? Knuckle dragger, whatever you want to call it. And it was about, I think it was in Atlanta that summer in July, I finally figured out that you could use Dylan back-to-back games, and he was fine. And I've always been real careful, you know, with pitchers and things like that, you know, making sure guys. But that's when I finally figured out. I brought you in. I think it was in the playoffs or the game to get the playoffs. I was on back-to-back days, and you went like 4 innings after you'd thrown like 2 the day before. I'm like, man, how you feel? And I remember you told me, you were like, Coach, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, man, I can throw all the time. Now, have you always thrown like that?
Yep. Ever since I was 7 years old. I actually saw a middle infielder get a slow roller, picked it up, and tossed it underneath to the first baseman. It's like, dude, that's awesome.
So so that's where you learned it now.
That's where I learned it.
At 7 years old.
Yep. Then I had Carl Willis. He was the pitch coach for the Cleveland Indians at the time. He actually tweaked me when I was around 10 years old and kind of kept me in check till I was about 14. Then the Dirtbags took over, man.
Took over. You took over. That's cool. Now, how did you build arm strength like that?
Long toss.
Long toss from down here.
Long toss. Yes,
now,
sir.
I was talking with Logan earlier. I'm like, who was your partner? Did you have the same guy to play catch with you with us?
For the most part, yeah.
Who was it?
Him a lot. Logan Koch.
Yeah.
I had Connor.
Andrus, yeah. Okay.
Them 2 were my main guys.
Okay.
That and then Ben and Moss. I like tossing with that guy.
Okay. I figured people didn't want to throw with you. Since
Yeah,
you
not a whole lot.
Okay. All right. So I finally figured out, it was July. I'm like, man, this guy can throw he can throw every game. And, you know, don't get your panties in a wad like, oh, man, he's throwing this guy every game. But, I mean, just like a softball pitcher, they throw all the time. I mean, your body's meant to throw underhand, not overhand. So it's pretty cool. But all right, let's talk about getting to that point. One more funny thing. Remember Hunter Bryant, right? Okay.
Yes.
Right. So his dad, Pat Bryant, good dude. Before we went, it was the last tournament before we went to Jupiter, and I kid you not, he said, "How do you think you're gonna be down there?" And I was like, "Well, I think we're gonna be okay." He's like, "Really?" So we got Dickens. So that kind of ended up being a little bit of a famous quote, like throughout this tournament that we'll go into. We ended up not taking some pitchers that should have gone, you know, because we just didn't need them. But because we had you. I mean, this guy could seriously shorten a game like nobody else. So it's 2010. We're down in Jupiter. We're in the parking lot before the first game. I don't know if you remember what I handed out in the parking lot before the first game.
Camo pants.
Camo pants.
Camo pants. I fell in love with them.
So this was the first time we ever wore camouflage pants. All right, we had Dirtbags down the side, and either you loved them or you hated them, which is great. So when we were walking into the complex, you guys were walking through it, people would stop you and what?
Oh, dude, where did them pants come from? Where are you from? Who you with?
So, I know people were like taking pictures with the guys on the team, with the pants. So anyway, we actually had one of our coaches that we played. It was game 3. The head coach of the team we played, he wanted to buy his son a pair from me. I promise you, I sold the guy a pair of our own pants to another coach for his son. So it was pretty good. Hey, there you go. So the tournament, the first game we cruised 9-0. Second game was the Rays scout team. I don't know if you remember this, but we got down and Seth Constable hit a big home run in that game. I think it was maybe like a 3-run homer, or it was late, and we were down. He hit a home run. We ended up tackling another run, and we ended up winning the game. And so we were 3-0, and then the team we were playing was 0-2, and so we'd already wrapped up our pool, and we ran into a kid named Kyle Funkhauser. I don't know if you guys know who this guy is, but pitched at Louisville. He's probably going to be in the big leagues here, maybe this year. He shoved it up our rear end.
Oh, yeah. So, made it look easy, too.
But that was kind of a weird game, like as a coach, because you guys knew
he was already in.
You knew we were in, and so it was no really hiding. So going to that game strategy-wise, it was kind of like, hey, look, man, just, we knew we were gonna have to play 2 more games that day, and 2 more the next day. It's almost like just trying to get hurt, try not to do anything too spectacular. So we dropped that game, which it sucks. We lost 3-0, but under different circumstances, things would have gone well. But anyway, so we go into the first game. We ended up beating a first rounder, Walker Weichel with Orlando Scorpions. We beat him. Peter Hendel threw that game. Yep. It was shut out, 6-0. We ended up playing the Florida Bombers the next game. Jason Creasy.
Yep.
It's with the Pirates now. He ended up winning that game, and so now here we are. It's us versus the Cardinal scout team. Now, going into the tournament, there was a lot of hype around this team. I know you weren't paying attention to that stuff. Did you?
No clue.
So there was a lot of buzz about this team being the best team that's ever been formed. Not talking about us. I'm talking about the Cardinal scout team. Like I said, 9 guys have played the big leagues on one team, 20 draft picks. Pretty impressive. So we're playing them the night before. I'm talking with Phil Meyer, who's our pitching coach, and I'm like, these guys just threw 3 shutouts in a row to get to us, and they basically run ruled every team they had played in the playoffs, and all they were doing was just murdering guys that were like 88, 91, and we had that guy ready to go, Adam Griffin.
Oh, yeah.
He's 88, 91, draft pick with the Indians. So he was ready to go, but I'm like, there's no way that's going to work. And Did I text you that night, or did I just tell you the game that morning?
I showed up. I walked in the dugout. I sat on the bench, and he was like, "Dickens, go get warmed up." I'm like, "Why am I getting warmed up? It's not the 6th or 7th inning." He was like, "Man, you're starting." Okay, so I go walk over there, and it's so muddy, man. Like, it's so much mud sitting inside this mound. So I'm like, "All right, I'm kicking mud today, fellas." Went over there, started getting warmed up, and the guy who I was facing that day, he was so scared of mud. Very clean fella. Didn't want to get dirty, I guess. Not a dirtbag, so to speak. So I went, got warmed up, man. I had mud knees down, just slinging it off the bottom of my cleat. Went, started, and man, just start cruising. Just felt it click that day.
Yeah, so let me paint the picture now. It was pouring down rain.
Yeah.
I mean, we had was it an 8 a.m. game or a 9 a.m. game? I don't know, but we're either there at 7 or 8 in the morning. It's raining. We're taking BP, and the Cardinal scout team's not there. They don't show up. They're like, I mean, what's going on? Well, we forgot we're playing at the Cardinals, complex, so they rolled in golf carts, an army of golf carts.
Yeah.
They must have hit under the tunnel. We did not get the invitation, to hit under the tunnel with our friends from Florida. So it's funny too. This guy named Taylor McCullough, who's high up with Perfect Game, and he and I are friends. And before the game, he came over to me. He was like, "Hey, look, man," almost like he was concerned for us. And he said, "Hey, look, you're facing Henry Owens." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Look, man, he's 6'5", he's left-handed, he's like 90-95. He's like, "Who you throwing?" I said, "Man, I'm throwing Dylan Dickens, submarine guy." He was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, man, watch." So we knew what we had, in you. We knew that we had a guy that probably had no clue about what was over in the other dugout.
Zero clue.
What wasn't going to get wrapped up in the hype. I mean, like, correct? You had no idea what was going on over there.
No clue.
Okay. So anyway, you were talking about getting loose, and I asked Phil when he came back. I'm like, because you didn't start. Did you start ever in high school? Did you pitch?
Yeah,
you
in
started?
high school, yeah.
Okay. But for us, you never started.
Just a closer.
That was the only game he's ever started. And so I asked Phil, pretty much what we all do as managers, like, "Hey, man, how, what you got, man? How was it, And he said, "Look, man," he said he was just slinging mud left and right. He kind of told the Henry Owens story. The opposing pitcher wouldn't get loose on that bullpen because it was too wet. He had to go find and he said Dylan is just slinging dirt, and he said, "Yeah, man, I feel like I've been tracking deer for 2 miles." So you don't track deer, do you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay. How many did you shoot last year?
This past year, 5.
5? Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good.
not bad.
Good.
Not bad.
For all you people that like to shoot animals out there.
I'm a big fan.
Okay. All right. So, Phil's like, "Yeah, man, he's fine. He's fine." So, here we go. So, you take the mound. Is there any, what's going on for you as a starting pitcher in that atmosphere, in that setting?
Pitch to the umpire, not to the batter. The umpire is going to be calling strikes and balls, so that's who I got to throw balls and strikes to, not some guy with a club standing 60 feet from me. So when it comes to batters, I didn't really care, still don't care who's in the box. It's just getting that strike 3 called or getting that ground ball to the shortstop because this guy's trying to pull that outside pitch. That was really my main focus.
Yeah.
Ground balls.
And you went on to just absolutely carve up, I'm going to say, the best lineup to ever be put together. I mean, this was literally murderer's row, okay? And, to rip off some of these names you've got here, you guys probably have heard of Javier Baez. Probably heard of him, right? Well, he struck out 3 times against this guy in that game, okay? Francisco Lindor, you probably heard of him, right? Pretty good. Maybe Jesse Winker. There's some big-time names that he just pretty much ran through, and they really never threatened. And we were talking before we got on camera, it was like the 4th or the 5th. They had a guy on first with 1 out. I don't know how he got on. Do you remember how he got on?
I can't remember.
I don't know. I don't know if it was an infield hit or something. But that was their only threat. They had a runner on first and then a little action. It's a hit and run, and they line kind of a humpback liner to left. Peter Hindle catches the ball, throws him out at first base. It's Miller time, man. I mean, we're coming to the dugout, ready to hit, and it was so cool. But we threatened a bunch, and we just never could get the guy in. But for you to just dominate, and he went on to throw a shutout in this game, 7-inning shutout. For you to just dominate an atmosphere was awesome. I mean, it was awesome to watch. And we were over there, and I don't want to say this, I don't know how to say this, but you're almost kind of laughing because it was something so different, and these guys just hadn't seen it. I mean, you got Javier Baez striking out, slamming his bat.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was, I know it was frustrating for those guys because I think, it was just different enough, man. It's tough to replicate how he was able to throw. I don't know how you prepare for something like that. And those guys, it's difficult even during the game to make that adjustment because it is so different. And that's why you had so much success. But we ended up winning the game, 1-0. It's the top of the 7th. All right. I don't know if you remember. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Seth Constable back up to the plate. Seth was our fastest guy straight away. He could really run. Swinging bunt, okay? But remember, it was raining that day. Field was wet. Tyler Marlette, 5th rounder, he's catching. Comes up, slips, bobbles, tries to throw him out. Safe. We win the game. We win the game because that's exactly how you do it. It was awesome, and then we went out, and then you just, we knew you were just 3 up, 3 down. It was really, he just pretty much owned that lineup, and there was only one threat was that little potential hit and run, and nothing happened after that. It was special, man. It was special.
Oh, God, yeah. I loved it.
What'd you think of that team, man?
It was all right.
I'm talking our team. Our team.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, great. Shoot, going to that championship game, we still had. Who do we have?
We started Benton Moss.
We had Logan
Jernigan through, and Adam Griffin. He was on 3 days rest, so he'd only thrown 2 innings. So
a lot of arms.
Yeah, I mean, in the championship game too. Dylan told me as we were walking over to the stadium, he said, "Hey man, look, make sure you give me the ball back if we get the lead late." And I'm just like, hell yeah, of course I am.
Give it to me.
Of course.
Give me the ball.
And it was the 5th, and we were up 2-1, and I handed you the ball. We ended up making an error, and they ended up scoring a tying run on no hits. But yeah, you ended up going 3 innings in the championship game, and Dylan's never, I don't think I ever talked to you ever while you were pitching, ever.
No.
The only time I ever talked to him was in that game, and he came over to me, he said, "Look," he said, "Andy," he said, "man, my arm's fine." He said, "but I can't feel my legs." You're so tired. The guy literally threw 14 1/3 innings, scoreless. Well, he gave up the 1 run in the championship game, unearned run. Just impressive, man. It was awesome, man.
Oh, more fun than anything.
Yeah.
I had a blast.
And that team was fun, and it was evident. And I heard that a bunch with that team. Just people would come up to you and say, "Man, dude, it's just that it's so evident that team loves playing together." And that's a fun type of team to coach, and that doesn't come around too often.
No.
So, cool, man. Well, I appreciate it, man.
Cool deal.